Hi, this is Donna, the Transdimensional Twin Flame and the Afterlife artist. My twin flame across the veil, Chris, and I channel lots of important information for people wishing to have interdimensional relationships, after death communication, or interdimensional cohabitation like we are. Sometimes I run across channelings from the past, and I'm going to start recording these in video format just to share with a wider or wiser audience. Normally I share these on Facebook, but that is a very limited platform. So this is from 2 years ago today. This channeling is about conscious pain and how to choose what pain you are willing to accept, because there is always going to be pain on your journey. So I'm just going to read it. Conscious pain, seeking success versus avoiding pain. When you look back on your life, are you choosing your path in order to avoid pain? Every path includes pain as part of its price. We live in a dimension where duality still exists. Opposite ends of every scale will simultaneously exist in every choice and every situation. When you live in an awakened and spiritually conscious life, you realize every path includes pain, and you can consciously choose what pain you are willing to take. People who have great success in life normally do not live from a perspective of fear of pain and what other people would call failure. There are no mistakes. They are not failures. Everything you do in life is some kind of lesson for you in how to succeed in the future. If you choose to see and then use these lessons for your growth, and then you realize that everything serves a purpose. This is liberating because you understand there's no need to take anything personally from this perspective. Everything is here working on your behalf from this perspective. People who succeed in manifesting their dreams know that before their success came trial and error. They learned that way. If they spent their entire lives trying to avoid the pain of failure, they would immediately be failing. And that's really the only kind of failing you can have, is to not even ever try. But even then, that is not a failure or a mistake, because that just means you're not ready. When you are ready, choose a path where you are conscious of the consequences. The rewards will be worth it, but the pain involved could be equal to the reward. You have to decide whether you are more inclined to strive for a great reward or avoid great pain. Sometimes achieving the highest heights means we have been in the lowest lows. Only then will we be able to discern how high we can fly. And then I created this graphic, and I'm going to zoom in on each part. This image is also encoded with light codes of the higher dimensions to help you understand these concepts. So here are just a few short reasons why you might be looking for signs from your loved one, and that's what we call after death communication, or ADC. Maybe you're looking for signs of your loved one's continued presence with you, and you're thinking that you're not finding them. But here are some really common things that sometimes happen that I can help you with. So if you're trying to get after death communication, are you deep in grief? That will limit you somewhat. Deal with your grief. It's not that you can't receive signs and synchronicities and communication from your loved ones when you're grieving. I personally did, and it helped me through my grief. But I was also already set up for success with this. I was already a medium, and I had already been trained in after-death communication. I was also a twin flame, so I knew that he would still be here with me. But for most people, your grief is a barrier in some ways because it is one of the lowest vibrations, and your loved one in spirit is now at a very high vibration. Another reason is, what are your expectations? Some people expect their after-death communication to look like what they've heard other people's look like. The truth is, every single form of communication is as unique as every individual and every relationship. You and your person probably do not have the same style of communication as me and my person. So you should be looking for anything that could be a sign from them and open your mind. Don't limit your expectations to what you think it would be based on a book you read or a podcast you watched or what somebody else said. Number 3, what are your limiting beliefs around after-death communication? Just ask yourself that. Number 4, do you have a daily meditation or other spiritual practice? This is not, I'm not going to say that if you don't meditate, you're not going to get after-death communication, because that's not true. But if you really want great after-death communication and you want it on a regular basis, you're going to need to be able to perceive that when it happens. A lot of this is very subtle. If you don't understand what clairsentience is, then meditation would very much help you with that. That's one way you can open up clairsentience. Clairsentience is one of what we call the clairs, which are the psychic gifts. And clairsentience is the one where you are feeling energy in your body. This covers so many levels of after-death communication, because some people say, oh, I feel hot, I feel cold, and I feel tingly, I feel prickly. Any of those sensations comes under the category of clairsentience. Most people don't have that on a regular basis until they learn to be quiet and still in some form of meditation, because otherwise the physical world and all the physical sensations and the things that you're concentrating on in the 3D will overshadow the clairsentience. Like I said, some of these are very subtle. So if you really want great after-death communication with your loved one in spirit, meditation is, if you really want it to be great, yes, it is necessary. It's not necessary to have the occasional sign or synchronicity from your loved one. They might send you a song once in a while or something. But if you really want it to be top-notch and you want an ongoing relationship and conversation and not just the occasional thing that drops in your lap, then you're going to need to have a daily spiritual practice like meditation. Next is, have you educated yourself about after-death communication? I took mediumship classes for this. Nowadays, there's a lot more available even than when I started, but there are lots of books, there are podcasts, there are so many, spiritual channels on YouTube. My channel, the Transdimensional Twin Flame on YouTube, talks about this all the time. I am probably one of the world's top experts in experiencing this, but I also teach it because I understand it. So you can check out lots of different sources to tell you what kinds of things can happen. If I hadn't been educated already by taking mediumship classes for 14 months before he transitioned, I might not have known what was going on either. But I heard so many anecdotes from my teacher and others that I knew what kinds of things could happen. When you learn about synchronicities, that will really help. And what methods have you been trying so far is the next point. So again, I would say if you are not actively engaged in trying to communicate with your loved one, then the communication is only going to be as good as you can receive it. Your loved one in spirit can do things for you and try to do things for you and try to get through to you. But if you are not able to perceive what's happening, it's not going to get through to you. And they may eventually stop trying, because it's not fun to keep trying to do something for somebody who keeps ignoring you, whether it's conscious or unconscious. So if you really want this to be a thriving back and forth relationship, because that's really what it is, they're not just a disembodied spirit. They're a person. They're the same person you knew, but they simply have a higher vibration because they no longer need a physical flesh and blood body. But they still have a body. It can change how it looks, but they're just at a higher vibration. But rest assured, it's your same loved one. So if you really want a back and forth relationship, treat it like the person is physically here, because they are here. If you can't see them, that doesn't mean they're not here. Some people can see them. And then the last one, are you actively engaging with your loved one in after-death communication or passively waiting for them to do all the work? That's what I'm talking about. That's basically a repeat of the last point. So I hope that helps. If you would like more information about this, check out the other videos on my channel, the Transdimensional Twin Flame, on Facebook or YouTube.